So I've been working on a story. A lot of people a little pissed off at Bernie Sanders these days. Some people call him a sellout, a fraud, a coward. Listen, he's still a major figure in the progressive movement, whether you're mad at him or not. So I've been working on a story about Bernie's campaign. What went wrong? Because there have been quite a lot of pieces out there. They call them campaign post-mortems, talking about what went wrong. And for the most part, the ones I've read, knowing what I know and having traveled covering the campaign in 2016 and 2020, most of them kind of missed the forest for the trees, that saying. One of them, Michael Tracy, not even going to get into that. Let's just say it didn't tell the real story of what really went wrong. And if progressives are actually going to learn from mistakes and seize power, not just like be online, but actually seize power and take over, if progressives are going to seize power, you got to really know what went wrong. So that longer story is coming out next week. I've already spoke with over 12 staffers that worked for Bernie Sanders, some of them very high level. Most of them didn't want to go on the record, but they went on background, which is not quite on the record, but not off the record. It's kind of in the middle, where you could use what they tell you, but not say who said it. Anyway, so while I was working on that story, I stumbled upon some other news about Bernie that I think is kind of instructive. It's probably going to make people kind of, go mad, and others might understand it. Who knows? All I can do is be the messenger and report what's going on, and you guys can respond accordingly. I wrote this a little bit earlier after I broke this story. This came from speaking with over a dozen staffers with the campaign. So it has been reported that Bernie was not really proposing or talking to Biden about who he should pick as vice president. What I found out is he has been talking to Biden about who, if Biden wins, which I think is a big if, as I've been describing. You can read along with us right there. Bernie has been recommending progressives that Biden should appoint to his cabinet and other key positions. This is what I got from sources very high in Bernie world that I trust and would be in the position to know. Not going to mention names because I don't want to get them in trouble. So part of this is the method behind Bernie Sanders' madness, which many of you think is madness. And also, I've spoken with a lot of his staffers from his campaign that were very high level and frankly expressed to me a lot of frustration and disappointment with what Bernie is currently doing. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll read a little bit so you kind of get an idea, and then we could kind of talk about it. So this is what I've learned from my reporting. Bernie, as presumptive Democratic nominee, Joe Biden continues to run his campaign from his basement. He did come out recently to do an interview with Dana Bash, which was a giant softball, but what else is new? But Status Coup has learned Sanders has made recommendations to Biden on progressive figures he should consider for his cabinet and other key administration positions should he go on to defeat Trump in November. Some of the recommendations Sanders has made are for progressive individuals that were appointed to policy task forces. The Biden campaign and Sanders campaign formed to craft policy proposals in the area of healthcare, the economy, climate change, criminal justice, reform, and education. We don't really need to go into the task forces. You know what they are. I think they're a joke, but this is what Bernie has gotten for endorsing Biden. Some of the progressives on those task forces: Stephanie Kelton, economist and champion of modern monetary theory, union activist and flight attendants Association President Sarah Nelson, Heather Goutney, who was a senior advisor on policy to Sanders, Abdul El Sayed, who ran for Michigan governor, lost to Gretchen Whitmer in the primary. He's a Medicare for All advocate and a CNN contributor. Marielena Hincalpi, sorry if I mispronounced, who is with the National Immigration Law Center. The National Immigration Law Center endorsed Bernie, and Sunrise Movement co-founder Varshini Prakash, who is one of the members. So these are all people on the task forces, and you also have AOC and Pramila Jayapal on those task forces. So one source I spoke to in Bernie World said to me, the task forces were constructed in a certain manner where the people on there are also seen as progressive champions who will distinguish themselves as people Biden should consider for his potential administration. The task force give progressives a, quote, entry point, goes the thinking, to show Biden and his allies how progressive leaders think and operate, so that if Biden becomes president, he may view certain progressive individuals as worth choosing for key positions. When I asked this source, again, pretty high up in Bernie world, has Biden signaled he's taking any of these recommendations seriously? It remains to be seen, I was told. Now, of course, we'll get to the rest of the story in a bit. Of course, frankly, I've already said what I think about Bernie time and time again. But, you think recommending progressives right now, you think he's actually going to take that seriously while he's on one line with you and the other line he's on with Lawrence Summers and Rahm Emanuel? New reporting out. Not only is he getting advice from Larry Summers, Bill Clinton's Treasury Secretary, this doofus, neoliberal Neanderthal that helped push NAFTA, that helped deregulate Wall Street, that never does not want a wealth tax, not for Medicare for all, doesn't think wealthy people are the problem. This is Larry Summers is advising Biden's campaign. Then you have Rahm Emanuel, who, besides the fact, as Obama's chief of staff, he helped kill even having a public option in Obamacare. But do I need to say anything more if you live in Chicago about Mayor Rahm Emanuel? 16 shots at a cover-up, Laquan McDonald, among other terrible things he did as mayor of Chicago. This is who Biden is getting advice from. He's not getting advice every day from Nina Turner. He's not getting advice every day from, Roseanne DeMauro of the Nurses Union. He ain't getting advice every day from Bernie. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.